name is Anyo and founder of Fashion Network, and we are coming to you live from Beijing in 1 minute.
Hey guys, my name is Shar, and we're going live in 1 minute.
Hello, my name is Lettuce from Lettuce Travels, and we're going live in 1 minute.
Okay, it seems that we are going to have to wait 2 minutes to go live. So my name is Anina, and I'm here with two amazing friends, Lettuce Travels and Ashar, and we are coming to you live in 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm checking, I'm not quite sure, but I'm checking Facebook and YouTube. I think we're live. Can you please comment down below if you guys can see us and hear us clearly? Please comment down below.
Okay, so it looks like we are live now on The Name is Shar and Lettuce Travels YouTube. We are on Lettuce Travels Facebook, and we are streaming now on 360 Fashion TV YouTube, 360 Fashion on Twitter, and we're just waiting for 360 Fashion on Facebook. Shar, if you can have a look. My name is Anina. I'm the CEO and founder of 360 Fashion Network. I'm here today with Lettuce Travels, and the name is Shar, and we are going to be talking about our experience in the last 2 months in Beijing.
Yeah, so Lettuce, why don't you go ahead while I check everything out if everything is online. But please, guys, please comment down below if you can hear us clearly, if you can see us clearly. Please comment down below because it will be a lot of help. Thank you so much. So Lettuce, why don't you go ahead?
Great. Thank you very much, Shar, and thank you, Anina. So tonight we want to talk to you about coronavirus. We want to talk to you about our experience. But most importantly, we want to help you if you have any questions.
Absolutely.
Do you want to know about quarantine? Do you want to know about traveling? Do you want to know about how it could affect your work or your daily life? Ask us and we'll try our best to help you. So please comment. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're on YouTube. And all three of us know each other because we all live in Beijing. We all like YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. We like to be very social and share our lives online, just so people know what it's like living abroad or living in China. So if you've got any questions about those topics, ask us.
Yeah, so how about Lettuce, how long have you been here in China? Because I've only been here in China for 3 years, coming 4 years, and I've got to say that I'm still, looking for the Chinese experience.
I think we've been here almost similar amount of time. I've been here coming up to 4 years as well. Yes, I think in a big city like Beijing, you get a bit less of the China experience. Just like any big city, it can be very cosmopolitan. I did live in a very far away province called Guizhou in the south of China for my first year. And that gave me a bit more of the China experience. So I do recommend living in a small province if you want more of a Chinese experience.
Okay, guys, we are now live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all simultaneously live streaming. And definitely, please leave us a message, comment. We can see your comments and we can answer. So our idea today was to, share with you our experience here in China over the last 2 months. Also because we know what it's like to be in full-on panic mode. We've already passed through that. and we really want to be helpful and answer any questions. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and what we see happening here in China and in Asia is that it's working. The techniques that they've put in place here are definitely working. So we recommend following this. And I'm really shocked a lot, to be honest, with what I'm hearing from people in the United States. It seems that, people were not ready. How about you, Shar? Why don't you talk a little bit about your experience, how you were here, and how you started to find out about it?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit naive because I didn't know there was a virus going on until I think it was like late January. I even invited my sister to come to China because it was Chinese New Year and I'm not planning to go back to the Philippines because I want to stay in Beijing. So I just asked her like, hey, why not just, let me tour you around Beijing. So I just bought her a plane ticket, and then she arrived at around like second to third week of January. That we were out and about, going to some malls and eat without masks because we didn't know. I didn't know anything, right? I didn't know that there's a virus, that it's dangerous to go out without a mask, that I should be cautious of what I touch in the subway, or even that I should have like sanitizer gel. So it was the time that she asked me like, hey, Ati, that's like a sister. Hey, Ati, why are they wearing masks? And I just told her like, hey, maybe it's because they're cold, because in winter they want to protect their lips because it's really cold outside. So that's why they're wearing masks. And it was actually my boyfriend who told me that, oh, because there's a virus going on, so they're wearing masks. So it was a little bit like shocking to me that I didn't know, because I don't know, I've read news. I've subscribed to a lot of WeChat news and I've read a lot of news, but it seems that I skipped this news. I don't know, I didn't see any news regarding this virus. And then after, like, let's say a few days after we were going out without masks, like we were on subways, on DDs, we were not really protecting ourselves. A few days later, she got sick. I think her temperature rose above 40 degrees. So we were really, really paranoid. Like maybe she caught the virus. Should I rush her in the hospital? What should I do? Because I didn't know anything. I don't have any anti-fever medication here because I never gotten that sick that I needed to take something. In China, there's like 喝点热水. That means drink hot water, right? So it's like if you're sick in China, you just like drink hot water and then everything will be good. So I'm adapting to it. So I didn't really buy a lot of medicine. But when my sister was sick, I rushed to the drugstore and asked my boyfriend to help me buy all sorts of this anti-fever medication, cold medicine, capsules, syrups, those things that you put on your head. We bought everything just to make sure that, hey, your fever is going to go down in 1 week. Let's hope for that, because if it's not down in 1 week, that means you caught the virus. So after maybe, let's say, 8 days, she had like a fever for 8 days. I decided that, hey, you need to go back to the Philippines because, it's really dangerous here. I don't want you to catch another fever and maybe that fever could turn into the virus. So after I sent her to the Philippines, I got sick. I caught the fever, and I was also very, very scared because I was alone in my apartment and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how could I go to a hospital? How could I do anything? Because everything is in Chinese, right? I didn't even know the phone number for an ambulance to come and get me in my house. I didn't know anything. But because I'm naive, because even though I've been in China for 4 years, I didn't know anything. Yeah, so I don't know. I was in the middle of it. It surprised me, like, boom, virus. Oh, really? Yeah, so it was such a surprising for me. Yeah. How about Lettuce? How about you? Because Lettuce, she went back home.
Well, you just reminded me of something, Shah. So I was in England in January and February, and I had to decide whether or not to come back to China. And one of my biggest concerns was, what if I did get sick? Just like you said, I don't know how to contact emergency services in China. I'm not sure which hospitals I could go to.
Yeah.
Once I got to the hospitals, would I be able to communicate with the staff? So that was a very tough decision to come back to China. In the end, I am pleased that I came back. I've been able to do my job. I've been able to teach online, and I've been able to speak to my friends again. And things like food and washing up liquid and toilet roll, I've been able to order online. We don't have any shortages in China, thankfully. So yes, I am pleased to be back in China. But it was a tough decision to come back. Really tough.
Lettuce, why don't you tell us a little bit about the whole process of entering back into China? I'm sure there's lots of people now that slowly they're letting more and more flights up. I just would really love to hear what's the process that you had to go through coming in. And then I know, Shar, you also have a story from a friend of yours that just recently came back. Things here evolve very quickly, so this is within a matter of days. I know that suddenly I was having some meetings online, and then suddenly my phone started going berserkoid with all these telephone numbers calling me, and then my WeChat was going nutso with my business manager of my company calling me saying, emergency. And I was on the phone with this lady, this was just 2 days ago, and I was like, my phone is going nuts, and this is not normal, and I think I really need to hang up with you and figure out what's going on, because they're saying emergency. So I got off the phone with her, and then, it was my landlord was trying to call me, and then I always call my business manager first, because he's the one who gives me the plan and what to do. So then he said that all of the most recent cases in China were from foreigners, and so the building management was trying to understand, when did I arrive in China? Did I have a fever? They were obviously calling my landlord. My landlord was trying to call me. Then they were calling my company. And of course, I've been here since December. And I was like, yeah, I've been here since December. And then even after I gave them all that information, 2 more people, with very little English, but enough to say, when did you arrive? I'm like, December 6th. And they're like, you have fever? I say, no. I say, I stay indoors, so they were really obviously doing an incredibly thorough job. So this obviously happened, shortly after you'd already come back, Lettuce, and been in quarantine. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Definitely. I came back on the 1st of March. I departed from England, from London Heathrow Airport. At the airport, we had to do an online health survey. They also took our temperature, and we were encouraged to wear masks. Everyone on the plane wore a mask. And then when we landed in Beijing, we had to do another health form. This was a paper health form. Then they took our temperatures again, and then we went through the normal customs procedure, and it was very efficient. I was in and out of customs within 10 minutes. Then it was a case of getting my case, literally, my luggage, and then I got a taxi, and the airport was empty. So the whole process was very quick. And then I got the taxi all the way back to my university campus where I live and work. And then once I was there, again, the process was very efficient and fast. I registered because I'm a foreigner. I had to register my arrival. And then I had to sign up for a new apartment. And then I moved into my new apartment. So it was all very efficient. And just like you said, Anina, everyone is thorough, very thorough. They asked me what flight I was on. Several people asked me because they wanted to check if there had been any cases on my flight. So it was very thorough, very efficient, and well organized.
You were also saying on the flight that everybody had a mask, and even the taxi cab drivers were taking precautions.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought it was quite amazing. I didn't expect it. The taxi driver had put up a sheet of plastic between himself and the back seats. So he divided his car into two parts. And I took a photo because I really was surprised, but I thought it was a good solution. And if you want to see the photo, it's in a vlog I made a couple of days ago.
And how about on the flight? You were wearing a mask?
Yeah, the whole journey. Now, I must admit, if you have a mask like this that goes around your ears, wearing it for a long time does begin to hurt. So I actually had another mask in my bag, which goes around my head instead. That's much more comfortable for long periods of usage. So when you're buying a mask, think about getting one that goes behind your head instead of behind your ears. I would say 99% of the passengers had a mask. There were a few people who didn't, but they were in the minority. And even the air hostesses had gloves on. They had 2 pairs of gloves on, depending what job they were doing. If they were just walking around, they had 1 glove. And then if they were doing food service, they had 2 gloves on each hand. So everyone was taking health and safety very seriously.
And when you arrived, I remember that, yes, this apartment that they have given you had nothing in it. And so you actually just sort of, without thinking twice, were like, oh, I'm going to just jot on over to my apartment and pick up some stuff since there's not even sheets or anything in here. And, yeah, I believe everyone started running away from you.
Yes, that's right. I didn't know that I would be quarantined in a separate building in a new apartment. So this apartment is very nice, but it's empty. So I thought to myself, oh, well, I need to go get my things from my old apartment. So I just left the new apartment, walked to campus, and then suddenly all the guards started to run away from me as I approached my old apartment building. I was like, why are they running? So I rang my boss up and I said, hey, why are people running away from me? Why can't I go in my old apartment building? And that's when he explained to me it has an air system which is shared between all of the apartments, and if I'm affected, it can affect other people. It was a big disappointment that I couldn't get my things. I did panic a little bit. I hadn't planned to not get my possessions, but it was okay. I went back to the new apartment. A neighbor lent me a duvet, and then other things like food and washing up liquid and toilet roll, I ordered online using Walmart app.
And how do you get it delivered? Because obviously you're not allowed to go out. So how do you organize that?
Very good question. Now, I must admit, I feel a little bit sorry for the guard. But every time I order something from the internet, whether it's Walmart or Taobao, the guard very kindly collects it from the front gate and then brings it to my apartment. And I'm ordering heavy things like bottles of water, but he very kindly delivers it to me, which is really sweet of him. In fact, sometimes I give him a pack of biscuits or some chocolate from England to repay his kindness.
That's a very, very sweet. That's very, very sweet story. Yeah.
Shah, what's your process? Oh, yeah. What's your
because
process to get packages?
To get packages. This is a very sad story actually. I'm not sure if you guys can see me, but I want to show a video, and then I'm gonna explain some things. Okay. Can you guys can see this?
Yep.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Okay, so my package, my compound, I live in Songjuang, so they decided to barricade themselves. So this videos, I'm gonna be using this in my vlog, so you're getting a sneak peek. Anyway, yeah, okay, so this is my compound right now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. So I don't, it's like this now. So this blue thing here, it was not there before, so I could go out through this way. And so this is like the blue thing.
Wow.
So this is now my compound. So this is the driveway for cars. But now they have barricaded this hole as well, because I've used to like sneak in. Sorry. I used to sneak in here and to get my packages, but they caught on, so they barricaded more. So right now, to get my packages, I need to go out from there, walk at least 3 blocks to get my package from this area. So I'm gonna be showing you. So this is like a checkout point. So every time you go out of, let's say this area, or you just cross it, you need to have your temperature checked, and you need to present an ID. So it's 3 blocks every time that I need to walk to and from my apartment. So I need to go out of my compound, and then from my compound that's 3 blocks away just to get a package. So for me, it's not that convenient as Lettuce, that she has a very sweet guard to send her packages. I
So
need
painful.
to get my own. Yeah,
And I was complaining.
it is.
I was complaining, and I have no like 3-kilometer walk down. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, Char.
Yeah, so I'm not even buying some things, but I still buy some things, but it's just like I don't even want to get them. I feel like I want to like ask them to, can you just put it there, and once everything comes, I'm gonna get them all together. Is that okay? But of course they don't hold packages for anybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I guess
I just
because
want-
I'm in the technology industry, right away in December we started hearing about this, and so already we sort of took that kind of seriously and decided that we would move the lab inside of my apartment. And since my flatmate had left to go back, because she coincidentally lost her passport. I mean, how lucky is that? At the time, we thought how unlucky, but she had to leave immediately, and so she avoided all of everything. And so basically, I took over the whole apartment, and we moved everything that we could carry into the apartment. And then I had my interns and engineers and everybody here camping out on the couch and, in the extra bedrooms and so on. And the whole apartment looked like, bombs had gone off, because there was like computer equipment and hardware everywhere. We were working on the robotic dresses. And so then what happened is after about 3 days we were working together, we got the notification that all of a sudden they would be slowing down the travel, and they would be stopping the trains. And so then we got another notification that, yep, definitely, everything was going to go into lockdown. This was around January 18th. And so my engineer and and the interns that had to, they all went back to their campuses that night, and then my engineer went by car back to her hometown where she got locked in. And so, as it was like happening very quickly, I was like stuffing hardware into bubble wrap and physically handing her all the components and everything, which played in our favor in the end, because then they shut down all the post and the transportation and everything. So, there was no quieties anymore. And the first time that I had the feeling that, wow, this is something really serious, that was the first moment, because the next day, my interns were not allowed to come back. They were barricaded into their universities. And I asked my engineer, I said, like, hey, why they can't get out? And then he took a picture, and there's like guards at the gate, and he's like, nobody's coming in and nobody's going out. And she said, yeah, because the university is responsible for them as students, and even though it's during Chinese New Year, it's too much of a liability risk. And so all those poor interns that came, instead of spending time with their family, they got like trapped in their university. And what a lucky, fabulous a Chinese New Year. Instead of building robotic dresses, which we did do, but the whole plan was that we were going to work over Chinese New Year. So then the second thing that happened was that made us take it really seriously, and that made it really terrifying for me, is suddenly, all these expat friends were like messaging me on WeChat. They're going to shut down the flights. They're going to shut down the flights. You need to get a flight now and go back to the United States. You need to go back to the United States right now. And I was like, I have everything here. I have the whole lab here. Okay, hardware engineer is in Shenzhen, software engineer is like in hometown, but it's a workable, solution. So, so that was really, same as lettuce, that was really a terrifying decision, because also all the people that were like, talking to me, they're like, we are getting on flights now. We booked the last flights. We are getting on the flights. We advise you to get the flights. And then I get a message, an email from the United States government, in China, saying, we advise all, nationals to immediately take flights. We will not be able to come and rescue you. That was around the time when they sent the plane into Wuhan to like go get all the, Americans out of Wuhan. They sent that special plane. And, I had to talk it through with my, with my team. I was like, I do not know what to do here. Like, what I'm going to do if I go to the United States, like what I'm going to do there. I have no equipment. I have nothing. And it was funny because I actually had an event booked on the 6th of February. And I was like, okay, well, clearly I'm not going to that. So it was such an awesome opportunity to try and do telepresence. And that was this DRAM conference. So I asked one of the designers who built the robotic dresses with me to go and give the speech physically and to show the dresses. And then I was there with my little head on an iPad and talking to people, and they really couldn't believe that I was in Beijing, but it was really cool. I live streamed it on the internet, but it really was an awesome experience to telepresence into an event. I've done it before, but to really network with people and have them treat me as though I were really on site. Now, it did give me the insight that having your head on an iPad on a table is not the best experience at the event, because I just look like a picture. And so I really think that there'll be a really big need in the future for telepresence. Like now I get it, why there are all those robots on sticks with iPads that move around. And I wish I had one. So then, we just decided to buckle down and start working and use this opportunity to, ramp up. And so I would like to address to the business community out there that I think one of the smartest things that I did was to buckle down and use this time to optimize my company. So cutting off any additional servers or charges to services that I didn't need, doing an audit internally to see where we were leaking money, starting to shut down and cut off, trim all the fat, in a sense, from everything. And use the time to redo our website, to set up all this live streaming. And it's just kind of weird because last year I was like a binge eater. I almost bankrupted the company by buying so much online event software and live streaming software. And you're in trouble when the accountant calls and goes like, stop buying software, you're going to go broke. So, I think it's just like there's opportunity in, these world type of changes that I think that we have to look at, and I don't think we need to feel guilty for it. I know that lettuce, for example, the entire world, 1.3 billion people right now in China who never had to be tech savvy, now have to be tech savvy. Not only that, but all of these kids that are now online taking classes, they are having a totally new experience. I was consulting for an education company, helping them get online and figure out, what are the right tools. And just yesterday, I was in a class, and like all the students had figured out how to make virtual backgrounds, and some were sitting in the grass, and some were in space, and they're learning how to, draw lines on the screen to connect dots. And I'd love Lettuce to talk a little bit about her experience of teaching online.
Definitely. Unfortunately, I haven't learned how to do a virtual background yet. I would love to sit in the grass. Yeah, so teaching online, first of all, you've got to pick a platform that works for you. Zoom is popular, as well as Tencent Meeting. So you need to think about the length of time that you need. You've got to think of your budget. Will you be able to put a bit of money towards a better package, or do you just want a free program? Also, you need to think about, can the students put video on? Can they put their mics on? Personally, I tell everybody to turn their video off because I don't want the internet to break. There's 35 people in a class, so what I do is I turn the video on at the beginning. I say hello, and then I share my screen so everyone can see my PPT and they can hear my voice. I like to keep it interactive, so there's the chat box. I ask them a question and they reply in the chat box, or they can turn their microphone on. And then we have 2 or 3 activities per class, and the activities happen on QQ. So QQ is a messaging app similar to WeChat or WhatsApp. And in the QQ, they can have voice calls with each other for free. And they can do either a voice call with one person or with a group of people. So that's how they do their activities. And then after a certain amount of time, we all come back to the Tencent meeting and share our answers together. If you want to see more of that, I did a vlog about it and I posted it yesterday about a typical day in the life of an online teacher. I do miss the interaction, face-to-face interaction, but I think it's a very good solution working online. It is very convenient. My office is only 5 steps away from my bed, so I used to have to wake up at 5:30 a.m., but now I can wake up at 7:20 a.m., so I get a few extra hours in bed. But I'm interested in knowing how the situation has affected your daily lives. So what's it like for you, Shah?
Right now, guess I'm not really doing anything at all. So I've been really focusing on doing a lot of videos for my YouTube channel. So I've did a couple of vlogs relating to, because I've launched a teaching channel that's English with Shar. So I've done a couple of teaching videos, and I'm editing another video about not really coronavirus, because we are in the same group, the YouTubers of China group, and they have said a lot of things like the coronavirus videos, they're not really doing well, and it seems that it's affecting their channel as well. So I did one video, which made me regret doing it because I've lost my Facebook account because of that. If you want to know about that, you can go see our first stream that we did today. I talk about that there. But yeah, so right now I'm editing another 5-1 Talk video. But yeah, so it's really hard for me to do anything at all because even though that Beijing is far from, what Wuhan experienced or is still experiencing, we still can't do anything outside. Especially now that my compound, like I said, we do need to carry this ID proving that we live in this compound, or else we can't really go in this compound, let alone the street that I'm in. Yeah, so whenever I go out, the only places I go to are the supermarkets, the supermarket and the supermarket, because there's nowhere else to go to. Because let's say I go to the mall, that's Wanda Mall, the nearest mall near me. There's still nothing to do. It's just an almost empty mall with a lot of stores not that open. And if ever they're open, some of the stores, they're not even letting you in. So they're just meeting you at the door and asking you, hey, what do you want? Yeah, so it's a little bit, I don't know. It is hard to live right now, but not as hard as other people are experiencing. Like Lattice said, there is no food shortage in China. I don't know. My family, they did ask me. My family did ask me a bunch of times, how am I? They reminded me to stock up and buy a lot of goods, buy a lot of water, buy a lot of canned goods, a lot of things, and toilet paper, even toilet paper. I told him a bunch of times that, there is no food shortage here in China. There is no need for me to go crazy and buy all the instant noodles in the supermarket or buy a lot of food, vegetables, meat. There is no need. Everything is calm in China. Pete is actually asking, are people going nuts over there like they are here in the States, panic shopping? Well, for my area at least, I can't see anybody buying a lot of things in the supermarket. There's a lot of things still. There's a lot of food. There's a lot of instant noodles. There's a lot of toilet paper here, guys. There's a lot. I mean, a lot. We're not really stocking up on toilet paper. Yeah, so how about in Anina's area or a Lettuce area?
Well, I remember
we live in different.
I remember you released a YouTube video saying, Shar, not to hoard and not to do that type of stuff. And I remember talking about this with my engineer in Shenzhen, and he and I figured out that yes, this was in January and early February. Yes, the shelves were more bare, but that was normal because it was Chinese New Year, and in general,
Yeah.
people are at home and during Chinese New Year, and the delivery companies and everything is not working so much. But the minute that January 17th kicked in and the government said, like, okay, officially now Chinese New Year is over, it had those extra days. He went in Shenzhen to his supermarket. I finally, after about a month and a half, I finally ran out of water. That was the first thing I ran out of. I think if I had to do it again, I would have definitely ordered a second bottle of water. I only had this huge bottle of this jug, and I had about half full. So that was like the first time I had to go out, was like in a month and a half. And I had to go get water. And boy, was that heavy to schlep, like you were saying, because there was nothing open. And I went around I had to like go the very long way. But definitely the minute that it came on, everything was stocked up. What do you think, Lettuce?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Shah, you reminded me of something. So my family, my mum, I just opened an email from her today, and she was worried for me as well, just like your family were worried for you. She said to me, in the UK, they have shortages right now. How am I? I'm okay. I can order online. I'm very lucky. I can order from Walmart, Carrefour, Taobao, and things come within a few days. In fact, for online teaching, I needed this headset. I placed the order at 8 a.m. and all of 7 p.m. And that was for me quite a big freak out, because I had to teach online and I didn't have a headset. And without a headset, teaching online is difficult. So, I'm very lucky. The services in China are good. I haven't experienced any shortages. But yes, it's definitely stressful if you do experience shortages. It's a lot tougher to be in quarantine if you don't have all of the things that you need.
I also think that I saw some videos on Facebook in England of this one woman and her daughter had just, a cart full. And then there was this other woman, and she was like saying, "Can I just have one? Please, can I have one?" And then they got in a fist fight not because of the woman asking for one, but because the woman who was like hoarding all of the rolls and rolls of toilet paper, got really violent, and the store manager had to come in, and he was like, "All right, that's it. Nobody's getting any toilet paper." And that just reminded me of what you were talking about, Shar, of that here in China, everybody is really like helping each other. About a week ago, when coronavirus started hitting America, no masks are available, N95 masks. And I went to, as many stores as were open, there was only 3, but in my area, to try to find some masks to send to my parents. And I found 4 pitiful N95 masks that, apparently came from Australia. But then I had packed them plus my tax receipts into a package, and I was going downstairs to send them, to my parents. And then I couldn't do the app because you can't just hand it to the guy on the street. You have to, for international package, you have to do it through an app, which is impossible because it's all in Chinese. And so the guy was like, he didn't even speak any English. He's like, hey, English. And then this guy came over, and I guess he spoke English, and he was like, "Oh, you need the app." I was like, "Yeah, I can't do the app." And he's like, "Okay, I'll do the app for you. I'll use my app." And I was like, "Oh, thanks a lot." And I said, "I can pay you or whatever I need to do. I just need." And then they all started looking in the package because, in China you have to show them what's in the package, otherwise they don't send it. And then they were like pulling out the masks, and they were like, "Why 4?" And I was like, I was really scared that they were not going to let me ship them out, you know? And so I was like, I need 4 to send to America, you know? And they said, why 4? And they would like kept bugging me about the 4. And then I got really upset all of a sudden. And because I can't touch my eyes, I started crying on the street because it upset me, you know, the idea that my parents wouldn't have any masks. And I said, you know, my mom and dad are in America and they have no masks. And then they were like, why 4? And I was like, why do you care? I was like, I couldn't find more, you know? And in that moment, the Kwai guys, they were all like, why is she crying, you know? And then I said in my really bad Chinese, you know, my parents don't have any masks, and I couldn't find any masks. And they went immediately to their truck, and they were like, wait. And they gave me their last package of masks, you know? They gave it to, they're like, oh, so sorry, only one. And I was like, wow, thanks. And then the other guy who was like, wait here. And he was gone for like 10 minutes, and he came back, and he gave me 10 top quality N95 masks from his private stash. And then he said, how many masks do you have? And I said, 1, you know, because I was late to the game. And then he was like, no, it's not enough. And he goes, tomorrow I meet you, I can give you 4 more, you know? And so it's really just that whole moment reminded me what Shar said, that we are in this together. We cannot be like having a fight in the supermarket when somebody needs 1 bag of toilet paper. That is just not acceptable. Shar, do you have something to say about that?
I actually agree, and it actually reminded me of this. I forgot his name, but he's really famous in Douyin. So I followed him. I recently followed him in Instagram because I really like his Douyin videos. Douyin is the Chinese TikTok. So he posted a video in his Instagram, and he said, I'm in Australia right now, and there's a lot of people want to buy toilet paper. So what he did in the video is said like, hey people, or Australians, please do not be so selfish. So what he did, he gave away this 1 roll of toilet paper to this guy, looking at nothing. He was looking for a toilet paper, and then he said, hey, do you want a toilet paper? Okay, I'm gonna give you this one. And then the guy was so touched, he couldn't believe that he just received this toilet paper from a complete stranger. So he just said, are you sure, man? Are you sure? And the thing was like, this reaction, the guy's reaction was so genuine. Like, he was just so shocked that this stranger would help him in this time. So in the Philippines, I've seen a couple of videos. I'm not sure. Please correct me in the comment chat box below. I've seen a couple of people in the supermarket buying masks, buying alcohol, buying sanitizer gel or things that to protect you. And they were panic buying. So I hope that, you know, people in the Philippines, you don't need to do this. Like, I know Metro Manila is going to be on lockdown, but it doesn't mean that there's going to be food shortage. So let's just avoid this by thinking like, hey, I'm not sick, but I need to prepare. Let's say, I think my advice was to just buy, let's say, a week's worth of food so you don't go hungry. Buy at least 3 to 4 canned goods every time so that you have something spared, right? Stored up. And yeah, so just think of others, because, you know, if we all die, then who gets the food? Right? So just be kind to others. Don't be so selfish.
I totally was touched. I mean, I started crying. I was totally touched that this Random stranger, I think you had the same experience, Lettuce, with your the guy who brings you your stuff. I mean, it was kind of the first time that I felt like, wow, Chinese people really are in this together. Like, and they're really united. I even I don't know if you guys noticed, but QMex, one of my favorite restaurants, they, I would like go there and nobody in the restaurant, but their back door is open, doing deliveries, and they put like a band around, the cutlery, and it said, Jiao China, and let's keep together. And I thought, as a business, that's such a cool touch. They certainly don't need to do that. But the fact that they went to that trouble to, give me like a red bracelet that was like, Jiao China, and we're all in this together, like a physical reminder. I thought, that was incredibly smart for a business, but it also made me feel united. It was a very powerful symbol, I think. And I would like to see the same sort of things happening in the business community out there, from a business perspective. And I certainly couldn't have gotten through this without being in the WeChat groups, without people sharing information. I think we have a little bit of a different dynamic here. When the information was coming out, suddenly you were getting all kinds of information. And the group leaders in the WeChat groups were really strict, and they were like, do not post fake news. Post news from official sources, make sure you fact check, and, police that news yourself. Otherwise, we're going to go into panic mode. And so many times, like, I would get these, messages and news from overseas telling us that there wasn't any news coming out of China, and please could we have news, which was so weird. It is so weird because, as we're all in this YouTube group, we were all posting information. And at that point, I thought, why is there no news getting out? Everybody in the YouTube group is posting about it. But then I said, okay, well, I'll just start posting on my Instagram about it. Well, I normally get like 200 views on a video. And what happened? Holy cow. My view went to 8. 8 views on a video that I posted about coronavirus. And then Shar was saying, and all the other YouTubers were saying, on all the coronavirus videos, they were getting like totally demoted. And that people were saying they couldn't see their channels. And Shar got totally locked out of, completely out of her Facebook page. She doesn't even have Facebook page anymore. And so I think that there's something, larger happening on that whole scenario of, the news not getting out of China, because I know for a fact that everybody I know was communicating. We have from Edison Jr. Hi, Lettuce. Greetings from Brazil. Once who declared that Europe is now the center of COVID-19 pandemic, the routine in China are back to the normality? Yes. From my perspective, pretty much.
Yes. I think things are improving.
I'm not quite. Well, I kind of want to disagree with you guys because, a lot of Chinese people or a lot of foreigners, expats, they went back home or they went traveling. I know a lot of my friends who are foreigners. They went to Thailand, they went to Malaysia, they went to even one of our members in the YouTube group. He's right now in Mexico. So imagine this. Imagine if all these expats, all these Chinese people went back to China. what do you think will happen? Right. So I'm not quite sure. So Beijing or let's say China is not even risking it. That's why they have this. They are now requiring everybody who is going to come back to Beijing, they're requiring everybody to undergo 14-day quarantine.
Yeah, I guess I meant back to normal, meaning, now every day, I judge it by the post, like how much post do I get? How many deliveries can I get? In the beginning, I was getting no deliveries, then I got like one a week. And now it's like getting annoying that I have to go down every day, as you said, Shar. So I guess I was judging it from a business perspective that the supply chains are coming back. My factories before were only at 30%. Now they're at 50%. 50% staff working at home. 50% staff actually in the factory. Now we can get materials again. Like I couldn't get acrylic, and now we're getting materials again. So I guess I was judging the back to normal was from my business perspective and manufacturing perspective and transport perspective. But of course, I'm still, working from home. I mean, nobody's going to the office. I think my designer finally went to the office, the other day, but I'm not going, and we have to do some work there. And I'm like, I don't really want to go. But, I guess I was judging it from, full lockdown to now we can manufacture and stuff. Did you have anything to add, Lettuce?
How about the school industry? What's happening there?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So at the moment now, students are forbidden to go back to campus. They have to stay in their homes and learn online. And if they do come back to campus, they could face a punishment, like having their scholarship removed. So the students who just never left campus, they can stay, but anyone that went away for the holidays, they can't come back. But I have heard that some office workers in Beijing have returned to their jobs, but not many. I think it's like 30%. But yeah, people who can work online are working online. I have a friend, an American friend, and he works with companies. A lot of companies in America now need VPNs because their staff are going to work from home, but they don't want their company secrets to be hacked. So they have to now use VPNs to protect their staff, computers at home, and all their secrets of their workplace. So there's a lot of things happening now with working online from home.
Yeah, definitely. We had to upgrade our VPN to an even lower level VPN because we weren't getting the level of traction that we needed for our business. Now I have a VPN that like goes onto the deepest level of my computer apparently. So definitely that's like a really good point. But I think that here's another comment from Edison Jr. Here in Brazil, the coronavirus started to spread in all the country in the last 4 days. We currently with 104 cases, fortunately 0 deaths at the moment. If you guys don't mind, I'd love to address this issue of the severity of the coronavirus. Sure. Because this is one of the things that people, I have a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is just a flu." Yes, it is a flu. But here, and if you're young and you have a really high immune system, you're going to be pretty fine, The thing is that if you have a compromised immune system, or if you're a child, or if you're an elderly person, then you could potentially be in really big problem. And now I want to explain to you, I'm sure everybody understands the idea of compound interest, with money. That you put the money in, and year 1, it doubles. And then year 2, it's tripled. And then year 3, that gets quadrupled, and so on and so forth. It's called compounding the interest. And so the thing that's dangerous, there's two major differences between the normal flu and the coronavirus flu that makes it so epidemic level and dangerous. And that is that 14 days you don't know if you have it. And you're a walking bomb, basically, right? You feel fine, everything's great, you're walking around, and you have no idea that you're infecting people all over the place. Even more importantly, you're touching things. So it's not like, even if you meet someone and you have the no handshake policy, it's not about that. It's that you're touching a railing, you're touching a doorknob, you're touching a box that you pick up and put back on the shelf in the supermarket. You are touching things and you are infecting things, and you don't even know that you're this walking time bomb. And then the second thing that happens that's important about the coronavirus is this idea of compound interest. So day one, you have one person that has it. Then day two, you have 3 people that have it. And then day 3, you have 9 people who have it. And then day 4, you have 25 people that have it. Day 5, you have 150 people that have it. Day 6, you have 600 people that have it. And so the only way to stop the virus is to stop the movement of the people. That is why the confinement at home, that is why, here everybody wears masks. Everybody gets their temperature checked. We have our ID cards that to go in and out of our buildings. We are registered. We also have to, follow the guidelines very strictly. And we are seeing, after 2 months, effectively in Taiwan, Singapore, and China, the virus is going like tube down. What happened in Wuhan is that the local government was unable to really take the situation into hand. Then Xi Jinping found out about it because it started erupting, as I mentioned, this compounding. And then he sent in the troops to lock that shit down. So that is why you really must do everything possible to limit this ability for it to spread. And I completely disagree with the whole don't wear a mask even if it's not N95. The purpose of the mask and wearing the glasses and wearing the latex gloves is because unconsciously we are touching our face, nose, and mouth, and the virus transfers very fast through mucous membrane. Touch your eye, boom. Touch your nose, touch your mouth, lips, done. It's done. So, the mask serves 2 purposes. If it is an N95, yes, if somebody sneezed on you, you weren't going to get it. But if somebody sneezed on you, any mask, would be helpful. Although, yes, the virus can penetrate a normal mask. But more importantly, you will not be outside unconsciously touching your face after you have been touching other things. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Not regarding the face mask. I totally agree with what you said. But I just want to share something. I'm not sure if you guys are getting this, but Beijing or China, I'm not sure if it's the whole China, we have been receiving a lot of news, updates, SMS, via SMS. It's all in Chinese, so I can't read, but I can see the numbers, and I just use a Baidu translation. But there is a lot of updates, almost daily updates. Yeah, regarding the number of cases in Beijing, what they're doing, number of deaths. I think also about economy. It's all in Chinese, but I can't really read. But it's all here. So Beijing or China is really doing doing really well, updating the people of China. So I just wanted to add that back. And also I talked to a friend I've met in a webinar. She's Eva. She's from Rippler. I'm not sure if you're still here, Eva. Yeah, so she said she's in Taiwan right now. So she just said that in Taiwan, they're not required to wear masks, just in certain public areas. So whenever, like, let's say in my place where there's not a lot of people in one street, it's okay for you to not wear masks. But let's say you're going to the supermarket, or let's say you're going to a really crowded place, like more people than usual, then the guard will ask you to wear a mask and, use hand sanitizer.
Leila Corivina says, first of all, people are in panic buying everywhere. Many are not cooperative with the government's guidelines for the community quarantine in iMetro Manila. She says that a good point about the SMS message about safety. We also have daily health informs. 111 infections so far. There's lots of protocols in place. So about the whole Taiwan thing is that the reason why Taiwan was super successful and Singapore is that the minute China got it, they immediately, and Hong Kong also, they immediately set forth a mandate that said, if you do not quarantine and stay put for 14 days, we will fine you $10,000. So that's an extremely economically effective way to keep people put. And my friend from Taiwan said that when you land, they hand you a government phone that has a tracking, and you need to take that phone with you everywhere. And yeah, even you leave the phone in the apartment and you go out and they catch you, 10 grand, boom. Extremely effective in keeping people to listen to what the government is saying. So Edison Jr. says, sending my best wishes to all, especially to Europe. And I just really suggest in places where they don't have, proper guidelines, I suggest you to look towards the countries that are beating it and then put into practice what they are doing. Those would be indicators showing you what's effective, regardless of what your local government or anybody is saying to you.
But the thing is, because I am in the Filipino group, the group Philippines, the problem is not a lot of people can afford to work from home. A lot of the companies back home, especially in the Philippines, they're not going to pay for your leave. That's the biggest problem. But you need to think about it like this. How much do you make in a month? Let's say 20K, right? Is your life worth 20K? Are you able to pay the hospital bills for 20K? Think about it just for a second. Because I know, that's why I'm working abroad, right? I know how hard it is in the Philippines. That's why I'm working here in China. I know how expensive things are. I know the apartments, they're really high right now. But you really need to think about it. 20K, or let's say, how much are the expenses in the hospital?
I think also definitely on that point, I can totally agree with you. I won a grant to build this robot, and I should have been in Spain March 6th, and I absolutely did not want to go. But I didn't want to lose this, grant, which is a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And it just came down to, and how much is that worth in your life? That is playing Russian roulette with everybody, me going there and me maybe getting infected on the plane and then maybe infecting everybody and then coming back and maybe infecting more. So, good point. Yeah. How about in the UK? I'm really curious to know, like in UK, before you came back, was everybody lettuce sort of going, oh, poor China, and like, hey, we're never going to get that?
Yes, for a long time, it was just seen as a virus that was in China. We'd hear about it on the news, and occasionally we'd talk about it with friends and family, especially because people knew that I live in China. But yeah, nobody thought it would come to England at all, not in the slightest, not in the early days. But every day, the number of cases in China grew a little bit, and it got a little bit more serious every day, to the point where people told me, do not go back to China. I had people that I haven't seen in 4 or 5 years message me, don't go back to China. But I did have to come back, and I'm happy to be back. But it was so difficult to decide to come back because, everyone just thought China was the worst place to be at the time. But now, everyone's experiencing it around the world, and they're all reacting in different ways. I think the protocol in place in China has been very effective, and hopefully other countries can learn from China's protocol, the systems they've had in place, things like the daily health checks. So personally, every day I tell my community that my temperature, I tell them if I've got any symptoms, so then the building manager knows who could be infected or who isn't infected in the building, and then they can respond to that. So yes, people definitely weren't expecting it to come to England. We did send a plane to get some people who were in Wuhan, and then those people came back to England and they were in quarantine for 2 weeks. But that was it. We didn't think it was ever going to reach us at all in the UK.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, it's a virus. Like, it's a microscopic particle. Like, that thing can travel faster and better than any other thing. It's not like it's a bird, and can't flap its way over there. I mean, just, I don't know. I really can't understand that thinking. But our thinking was definitely that, this, because of the people listening and taking things very seriously because they had the SARS experience already. Other places in the world don't have those type of experiences. Polio was so long ago. Tuberculosis was so long ago, like 100 years ago. Like nobody remembers that type of severity of a problem. And again, I want to address that issue of why the coronavirus is not just some random flu, is because of the compounding and the intense way that it is aggressively infectious. So, day 1 you have 1, then day 2 you have 3, by the time you get to day 6 you've got 600, and then from 600 it just starts rapidly expanding. And that would be fine. Like, you could say, but in the flu, everybody has the flu. And but that would be like, you go to work and everybody has the flu, and everybody is on their deathbed, and everybody feels horrible and is sneezing and sniffling, like every single person around you in your entire building. Like, not fun. Who wants to do that? And then secondly, the real danger is, and that's where we're teetering on the brink in Italy and in America, is that there are special kinds of units, healthcare beds, that can treat this type of disease. And in the United States, there are only, I think, 1,200 to 2,000, period, of these special kind of beds that you need to treat and isolate this type of disease. That means once those 2,000, let's just say 2,000, once those 2,000 beds are full, that's when no other beds are available, okay? And that's when the healthcare system starts to get completely overwhelmed, okay? Then the people in the hospital, as we know from China, they get it, So then they have to go quarantine. So then there's less staff that can actually go to the hospital and treat anybody, okay? And then that's when the whole healthcare system just starts systematically collapsing on itself. No more doctors, no more beds, and all of those people have to go home where they probably have roommates, or they come in contact with people because they need to get food and so on. And then the whole thing just starts to implode and crumble because the healthcare system cannot manage that many people. That's why Wuhan and Xi Jinping started building hospitals. You know, remember those aerial views of like people and the bulldozers? And he built like, boom, makeshift hospitals like immediately to accommodate. And I just spoke with some people in Italy. And last year, I participated in Linea Pelle, which is in this huge trade show thing. Well, you know what? They have to turn the trade show now into a hospital unit because they can't just start building hospitals like crazy. And this is only for the Milano metropolitan area. You know, fashion designers left, right, and center are donating money. You know, Donatella Versace just donated $200,000 to Reggio Emilia Hospital. You know, people are donating this money, but throwing money at it doesn't work because you can't. You know, they don't have the same level of manpower that they have here in China, where they can just like start setting up and building a new hospital. No, they have to take over convention centers and other kinds of buildings so that they can put some kind of beds down, because still they're not going to have enough of these special kind of beds. And so that is the real danger of the coronavirus, is the fact that its incubation period is 14 days, if not longer, and it's compounds, and then the healthcare systems overseas are not equipped to handle this many people. And then basically 20% of the population dies because they can't get treatment. That's how it goes.
I have a question. So let's talk about quarantine. How can people stay busy inside? How can they stay entertained? How can they stay healthy mentally and physically? Any ideas, ladies?
That I know. So
Good.
What I do now is I do like what you said in your vlog, basically, Lettuce. So Lettuce uploaded a vlog yesterday, and I got a notification because I turned on that bell. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I watched her vlog, and she said, okay, to you know, like get those what did I say? To have the energy up. I forgot what you said. She has this dance party. So similar to what she's doing, I've downloaded a bunch of exercise videos and a lot of Just Dance videos. So even though I don't have that Wii or whatever Nintendo, I don't know where is Just Dance being played on. So even though I don't have that, I still dance along the video and pretend that I am getting all those steps in and exercising a lot. To be healthy mentally, I just stay away from a lot of news daily. Let's say I check the news maybe once or twice a week, and that's it. Because, you know, if I read the news daily, oh my God, it's 80 people are confirmed now. And the next day, oh my God, it's 81 now. Oh my God, it's 79. What's happening, right? It's just making me panic even more. So I've avoided the news and just read news like once or twice from legit news outlets, not just like people sharing stuff. I think that's all. How about you, Anina? Any advice for Lettuce, especially? She's still in quarantine.
Absolutely. I have to say that I want to join your dance program because I definitely my strategy is a more business strategy. I'm really buckling down on my company and really like now we're going to manufacture, this robot and stuff. So, I'm sitting all day in front of the computer. I used to suck at cooking, and now I actually had to learn to cook. Because I hate going down to get, and who knows where the food comes from and who touches it. So I just now, and I got tired of eating Chemex every day. So I actually have learned to cook some foods, and twice now I surprised myself with making something quite tasty. My biggest problem there is I'll put it on the stove, and then I'll get distracted and start working on my computer, and then I'll start smelling smoke, and then I'll go and I have to throw away the pan and the pot. Now I start cooking things in my rice cooker. I only know one setting, which is 45 minutes for rice, so I made some lentil soup tonight, and I got some vegetable bouillon, so I'm getting snazzy here on like learning to cook. Whereas before all I could do was like peanut butter sandwich basically. And I wish I could force myself to exercise more. I think that's my biggest downfall is just the sheer number of hours I'm on the computer and stationary. And that's where like I think if I had a wonderful, daily activity like dancing with Shar, that would actually be cool.
But I just want to mention that Lettuce, your apartment that you're in right now, that's huge. You failed to mention that this apartment is huge. We were thinking that it's just a small room with a bed and not even a kitchen and just a small table and a small bathroom. No. Forget about that. That's huge. She has a separate kitchen with a door. Am I right?
Yes, yeah. I am very lucky. That's why I've been in this job for 3 years. They do treat us very, very generously. This is an apartment that would normally host a family. So there are 2 bedrooms and a kitchen and a bathroom. I haven't done an apartment tour officially of this apartment, but I did do an apartment tour of my old apartment on this campus, and you can see that on my YouTube channel. But yeah, I could have about 20 people in a dance party in this living room. Well, 15 comfortably, 20 if we dance like this. But Anina, I want to know more about work-life balance. Because you said you brought your lab into your apartment. How are you doing a work-life balance?
Well, as I said, so I definitely, and it's ridiculous at 11:11. I don't even want to tell you. It's shocking. It's terrible. I have like jump ropes. I have yoga equipment. I have like 6 weights. I bought on 11:11 a running machine because I thought, okay, that's going to get me to do it. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. I just like sit and work all the time and occasionally watch a video. But one thing, I guess that's because I'm extremely focused on my work and I'm taking advantage of this situation to pull ahead and also to get ready for the next months, which are going to be really critical for businesses. It's like make or break. There is one thing, though, is that I have been educating myself like crazy. Like in January, I took this intensive marketing course, which was like 4 hours a day, every day, like of work that you had to do to keep up. And still, I had to take it twice because it was so hard that I couldn't finish it, and even the second time I couldn't finish it. And I have all of these courses, and I'm trying to get a routine where I am religiously just educating the heck out of myself. And the reason for that is obviously we're going to be entering into an incredibly competitive landscape business-wise. And so I really need to arm up and step up and get up to the next level. manufacturing, and you know, I have like super competent team to do that. So I don't really need to do anything there except take decisions of aluminum, not aluminum, what color, I don't know, defer to another person of what color. But what I need to be doing is my part. I have we're doing our first online conference, which is on March 28th and 29th. So I'm interviewing speakers, I'm setting up the back end, I'm, you know, programming up the AI, I'm, you know, just sort of in full-on event production mode, and robot production mode, and that's why I do take time out on a Sunday to have a bit of a spa day, you know, like in my bathroom with like salt and, you know, rubbing, and try to care for my body in that way, by relaxing and while watching a movie to educate myself. But I really wish that I could lick this exercise thing. I'm just utterly failing at that, even though I am literally surrounded by an entire gym here.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a home gym, a running machine. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was considering buying one of those as well. People do go outside. People who aren't in quarantine like me, I do see them exercising.
Yeah.
We've been very lucky with the weather. So people go out and they do runs. They play with their children. I mean, imagine. Kids can't go outside as often as they can normally. There's no school for them to go to. So yeah, people try and go out as often as they can. Shah, what about you? You said you like to do some dancing videos.
I want to join your dancing, guys. Like, I need encouragement here. I think I need like a dance partner, you know?
Should we do a live stream about just dancing?
Yes.
Oh
In fact,
God.
I think his name's there is a person. I know him on YouTube. He's in Beijing. He's called Edmund. I want to say he did a dancing live stream.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I've been just like, you know, not all the time, but I've been dancing because I'm not doing anything. Like I said, I've just really been focusing on my YouTube channel. But you know, you can't really focus a lot on YouTube channel, especially like while editing, because you get tired of seeing your face and like you just question yourself, why do you look like this? What the hell are you saying? Why did you even say this? So it's like you just, the more you see yourself, the more that you don't want to see yourself. So most of the time I stop editing because I'm just so sick of looking at myself like, this is such a, what is this? Is this what you call a vlog? So I dance most of like afternoons and I exercise in the evening. So
all right, you're calling me up from now on when you're like gonna give me the T-minus 30 seconds and dancing, okay? And then like I'll join you for 5 minutes. I'll take a break. I want the ping on the WeChat, you know, T-minus 30 minutes to dancing. And Layla Corvina says, yes, Shar, dancing live stream, you know? Yes, definitely. Now you have a whole new YouTube series.
Layla, if I ever do a live stream, would you join the live stream and dance with me? I would be like lucky if you would dance with me. Yeah, like I said, I've just danced in the afternoons, but most of the time I do exercises. I follow this YouTube channel. I couldn't remember who, but I follow a YouTube channel and I just follow her exercises because you know you really need to get your butt off the chair. I'm so sorry, Anita. Like I said, and Lettuce said, like a lot of people are outside jogging. I could see a lot of like old men as well. walking around, walking their dogs, playing with their kids. So yeah, the weather has been really nice because spring is coming. Spring is
Again, just for the people who weren't here at the beginning of our live stream, my name is Anina. I'm the CEO and founder of 360 Fashion Network. I'm here with Lettuce Travels, who is a YouTuber, also based in Beijing, and I'm here with the name is Shar, also a great YouTuber. And we decided to come on today and also tomorrow because we have been through the China coronavirus. And, we now are watching from the other side. First, everybody was watching us go through it and very sympathetic. Yeah. And now we're watching everybody else. But the difference is that we have experience with this, and we want to share our experience with you and also offer you hope. We are seeing China bouncing back, and they're bouncing back because of the measures that they have taken. And the number one measure is to stop the flow of people from contact. That's the only way really to stop this virus, is to stop people from getting in contact with each other until it starts to die down. And it is now. We see the numbers are decreasing. That's why when Lettuce came back, they also are very strict on who is coming in. Lettuce is in lockdown right now. She cannot leave her apartment at all. Like, at least Shar and I have this ID card, and we can go down and get our post, and get water. Lettuce cannot leave her apartment at all for 14 days. And everywhere we go, people are taking our temperatures. I go into a shopping mall, they take my temperature. I then go into the only restaurant open in the shopping mall, and they take my temperature. Everybody is wearing gloves. Everybody is wearing masks, even if they're not N95. Even people wearing glasses. Yeah. I forget my glasses all the time, but even today I was surprised how many people have those protective eyewear. People are taking it very, very seriously here, and we would like to encourage you also because it's working, and it will take 2 months, but this is an opportunity to trim down the fat on your businesses. This is an opportunity, like Shar, to get fit and to focus on her YouTube channel. This is an opportunity, like Lettuce, to tech up and to develop a new way of teaching online, which is amazing. So do you guys have more to add?
Yes, I would like to add, please learn how to properly wear a mask. I've seen pictures of my friends in the UK wearing their mask below their nose. Oh, that's not effective. Also, if your mask has metal on it, the metal goes on the top. It doesn't go up on your chin. The metal is so you can mold the mask around your nose. So please learn how to wear a mask. When you buy the mask, there's usually instructions. There'll be some pictures. Follow the pictures. And also self-quarantine if you can. I know it's not very nice to be inside all the time, but it's better than getting sick or risking infecting other people. And it was funny when you said about building your skills up. You may also build your fat level up if you don't move as much, but that's okay. You can reduce it when you go back outside in a couple of weeks' time. And yes, I can't even leave my front door. In fact, my trash is building up. There was an arrangement for the cleaner to come and take it away, but I think the cleaner's forgotten. But it's okay. It's fine. It's a very small little inconvenience. But yeah, self-quarantine if you can. Online shopping is your new best friend. Zoom, Tencent Meeting are your new best friends for work. And Skype can be your new best friend as well. Make the business calls. I love how you phoned in to a conference using a pad, Anina. That sounds good. Take the most of their online learning courses as well, like Coursera. They have a lot of free courses. So it's time you can work on yourself, on your learning. What do you think, Shah?
Yeah, I totally agree. And for the Filipinos out there who can't really afford to work at home, I think this is the time to really think outside the box. Most of the people, like Leila Corvina said, that they just have been living for day-to-day existence, right? So maybe, in the Philippines, there's a lot of online kind of jobs right now. Why not apply for those kind of things right now? It may be teaching. It may be being a virtual assistant or being, there's a lot of jobs right now, social media manager. There's like a lot of jobs out there right now that is online. So why not just find a way to help yourself and not put yourself at risk? Just be innovative. Maybe sell something, be a seller, sell some ice. Filipinos like to sell ice. Sell some ice in your neighborhood, ice candies. Do something to help you sustain your lifestyle. Yeah, I think that's it.
I would like to definitely reinforce what Shar just said. Here in China, I consulted for an educational company to help them get a great experience in their online teaching. And a lot of the TAs are older women, and they can barely operate their phone. And it's an exciting time that now 1.3 million people are having to learn new tech skills. And I totally wish to reiterate what Shar said. Right now, I actually had 2 Filipino VAs that are fantastic. And you know what? They both got sick. So I'm looking for a fabulous online team. And I'm definitely looking to the Philippines. Super smart people there, and highly willing to do stuff. And so I would like to encourage you to definitely go online. There's going to be so many people searching for virtual workers, and you do have to tech up your skills. But I'm looking, and this is an opportunity. Exactly what Shar said, to think out of the box. I just want to reiterate what she said. What do you think, Lettuce?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are websites where you can look for online jobs like graphic design. Maybe people need help with video editing as well. So if you already have some of those skills, or you can learn those skills, fabulous. Anina needs a video editor. Also copywriting for websites.
Yeah.
It's about getting online. Also, part of it is about minimalism. So you'll automatically start spending less money anyway. Cinemas are closing, shopping malls are closing, events are being postponed. But also just think about your food options. You don't need to eat a different meal for every meal. Like for me, I tend to have the same lunch every day at the moment, just instant noodles, same breakfast every day, cereals. Keep it simple. It will keep your budget, your costs lower. Minimalism is your friend right now as well. Don't be spending crazy. And I think one thing I appreciate with not having all of my stuff is that I don't need a lot. I've learned to live with only one bowl, only one spoon, only one cup, only one towel. I've got 2 jumpers. But you learn to live with less. You don't need to wash your clothes every single day if you've only worn them once, So adapt is, I think, your best friend right now. Adapt to working online. Adapt to not going out so often. Adapt to wearing a face mask. That's what I would say. What do you think, Shah?
Amazing points that both of you are making, by the way. Amazing points. Really spot on. That is even encouraging to me. So I'm just really impressed with your, all of your advice for sure. This is like great. So for everybody who has been watching us, we are going to do one more live stream tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know that's like midnight in England.
Yeah.
We really want to reach out with our stories so that we can like, take the panic down. We know what works because we see it working here in China. We just follow the same methodology, you guys. That's it. And as Shar has said, we are in this together. We don't need to hoard. And as Lettuce said, this is great opportunity to go to minimalism. That's sustainability. That is, really where the world is going. Virus, no virus. Like, this is a sustainable opportunity to be working at home, to learn to collaborate online. These are all skills that are going to change the world as we have been waiting for in the tech industry for so long. It's ridiculous. So for me, my perspective on a business, this is your opportunity to trim down the fat. You do not need to fire all your workers. You need to educate them with new skills so that even now they're not just sitting around doing nothing. You're educating them. You don't have to fire them. They are now developing new programs inside. They're, as Shar said, thinking out of the box. Like, this is an exciting opportunity. You need to keep your team close. Where you need to be cutting down is like if you have 6 servers, and 2 are not really needed. I had 2 servers that had like old software and stuff on it that I didn't need. And that was like $136 right there for like basically nothing. So boom, I got the permissions and the sign off, and we did a disk image, and I eliminated that cost. I had a lot of costs, monthly costs of stuff, like I'm cutting my Prime just because, I have entertainment, but right now I'm focusing on education. If I cut the Prime, first I'll save $12, but then I will be forced to watch more educational videos, So I think there's lots of opportunity in everything. I want to thank you so much for being here with us. I want to thank Shar and Lettuce for joining me on this live stream test adventure. You guys are amazing. We have reached so many people in the last few days. I'm super excited.
Thank you, Anina, for having the initiative to put this together. It's great to try and help people if they've got any questions. It's great to get to know both of you ladies more as well.
Totally.
It's been really nice to discuss the situation, what's going on, and how we're trying our best to handle it.
Any final
Like Anina said, we're gonna do this again tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Can you please tell us the details again? It seems that this Asian, not so Asian lady keep forgetting.
So it's 10 a.m. Beijing time. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 7 p.m. Los Angeles time, and it's 12 midnight in London time. So, those are all the time zones. That's when we're going to be doing it. And we just really hope that we have been offering you insight, preparing you for the coming months. And I guess our main message is of hope, and that this is an amazing opportunity. An amazing opportunity. Yes, it is filled with tragedy, but it is an amazing opportunity. And if we can see those opportunities, that's what's going to get us through it. And show our weak points in yourself, in the society, in the system, so that we can, prevent this in the future, minimize it in the future. And it won't be the first time. It won't be the last time, I mean to say. This will happen pretty much regularly, I think. Virus is virus. So thank you so much for joining. Hope the panic level has, started to subside. I know that horrible, like, level 200 feeling where you're just feel like so much stress and just panic, but if you look to what's working, then you will know what to do. All right. See you tomorrow, you guys. See you tomorrow. And thank you so much for being with us today. And have a great day. We are going to go have a rest. Thank you so much. And over and out.
Bye.